Gold's been sideways for, good 18 months now, and it's hated because it's not moving. The whole mining sector is down from its highs, and no one wants to invest in the mining sector. But the second that changes, then mining's the best sector to be in, and gold's the best thing to be buying. It's all headline driven. It's all momentum driven. I don't think many investors look at fundamentals really to any great degree. I think they're all just wanting to make money. And I look at what's happening today very similarly to what happened in 2000. When we had the NASDAQ boom, the dot-com boom, Y2K, and then NASDAQ peaks out in March of 2000 at 5,000 points, and over the next 3 years it drops 80%. And then that lit up the resource sector, and we went into a 10-year bull market in resource stocks. That's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen. Hopefully I'm right. We'll see.
So you've said before that there's enough money for the sector at these metal prices to keep exploring. And that's a major change over the last decade when we saw a major lack of exploration. So in your view, have we seen all of the big silver and gold mines being discovered, and have we hit really peak production for the metals?
Well, copper and silver, are challenging because I think, whether we've hit peak, I don't know, because, peak to me is always price related, right? Because all of a sudden, if my theory is correct, that we're going to see triple digit silver, which, call it what you want, $125 or something like that, which I think is a reasonable number. You're going to have a whole bunch more money coming into the silver sector. And a lot of these low grade mines that we know exist, high up in the Andes, that are going to cost $1 billion to build, but they could get built. And if they do get built and permitted first and get built, you're talking probably about 10 years to get them into production. Nevertheless, that would add, substantial amount of silver to the market.
Before we continue, help us clicking that YouTube like button and subscribe now to our channel. This shows the algorithm that you valued this information. And it helps us spread that message. Sharing is caring. And now, let's continue.
At $25 silver, there's not sufficient investment going on. And you look what's happening in a lot of the silver-centered countries around the world. They're becoming more anti-mining. You look what's going on in Peru and Mexico. With some recent news, unfortunately, out of Mexico. Argentina, Chile, Bolivia. These countries are moving to the left and moving very much anti-mining. So as a world population who wants to go green, and it's very negative news because we need this metal to achieve these objectives. And if these mines keep coming offline the way we see them happening, that's a big problem.
And of course, an important point there is, if we do see, like you said, for example, $125 silver, we need a sustainable run of the price being up there before those mines are permitted and built, right?
That's a perfect, you're dead on that, Tom. I was just in a meeting last night and we're talking about M&A in the gold sector. And, there's still CEOs in the gold sector using $1,200 or $1,300 gold in their analysis of takeover targets. And we haven't seen $1,300 gold for a few years now. So if these executives don't believe that $1,800 gold or $2,000 gold is here to stay for a sustainable amount of time, they're not going to make the investments. And that's one of the reasons why you're not seeing a lot of M&A activity.
So do you see that as a positive or a negative for the industry, Keith, that the guys that are closest to the ground aren't counting in $1,800 gold?
I blame it on the financial institutions and the hedge funds because during the last big run, when gold went up to $1,800 and silver got up to $50 back in 2011, there was a lot of big transactions done, right? The executive teams of those companies felt they were doing the right thing. They were being pushed by the banks to do it. I remember, being, running CEO for First Majestic for so long. I was getting deals shown to me on a weekly basis oh, you should look at this, you should look at that, and all very low grade, high cost, assets, which would take, a sustained long-term high metal price to permit and build and so on and so forth. And I didn't take the jump and take advantage of any of them, but I know a lot of teams did, a lot of mining companies did take on some pretty big assets. And then as the market turned, over the next 5 years, they were highly criticized, for doing what the banks were basically telling them they should do.
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race. You're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Markus Dahn, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Markus Dahn.